Joe Kleen, Southern Hospitality. February 10th, 1990, 17. Back inside Onyx House, Joe finishes his coffee and refills his mug before ascending the stairwell that leads to his sleeping bride. Though nearly 9, Misty's light snores resonate through their room, and Joe smiles at the feeling of rapt adoration that overwhelms him at the sight of his wife. He carefully places the mug of coffee on the bed table next to Misty's head, circles to the opposite side of the bed, and slips off his sandals before slipping beneath the thin sheet that covers Misty. Settled in their bed, he puts his left arm around Misty and wiggles himself against her, maximizing the square footage of his body that comes into contact with hers before reaching up and brushing Misty's hair from her face. Rewarded for his efforts with a hand swat and an inarticulate grunt, Joe whispers, "There's coffee directly next to your head," a proclamation that earns him only a less ire-filled grunt. "It's 9 o'clock, my amazing Amazon," he continues. "Time to begin our day." Opening her eyes, Misty breathes deeply twice before inquiring, "Says who?" "Said you. Last night. Breakfast at 9, pile in Doc Williams' van at 10, and head to the Hyatt where we can leave our luggage until it's time for check-in and go luxuriate on the pristine St. Kitts sand. Ring a bell?" "How do you know the sand's pristine? We haven't been yet." "The brochure said so, as did Courtney. 2 impeachable sources." "Peaches sound nice," Misty mumbles. "Maybe there'll be some with breakfast." Joe replied, his hand moving southward and cupping Misty's breast. "Maybe, but there's a nice pair of melons right here." "Thanks, I think. Coffee smells good," Misty replies before sighing heavily. "Everybody else up?" she asks, squirming away from Joe, sitting up and leaning against the bed headboard before reaching for his coffee. "This is good," she whispers after taking a sip. "Anybody else up?" "Justin was poring over his books down on the patio before I was dressed, and Phil came down and joined us a little before 8. Seems all the men are ready to rise and shine, and all the women are ready to sleep the day away." "Imagine that," Misty says with a nod. "All the men are Kleens, which by definition makes them a little crazy, doesn't it? Let me finish my coffee, then I'll get moving. Thanks, by the way," she adds, holding up the mug in her right hand before laying her left on Joe's chest. "Anything for you, Diana Prince," Joe answers, turning to her, putting his hands on her ribs and stroking her in an arc that travels southward to pubis before returning northward to mammary. Smiling and squeezing his hand before draining her mug, Misty takes Joe's hand in hers, kisses it, and slips from their bed as Joe's fingers tug futilely in an effort to bring her back to the bed he'd insisted it was time to exit. "I'd better get ready to go," Misty declares, standing naked before her husband. "I'd hate to keep everybody waiting."